I haven't told you about this yet. Deployment slots. It is a feature of Azure App Service and it is awesome. Let's take a look. So, as we've seen, an Azure App Service web app runs on an app service plan, which is its compute. The web app can also be seen as the production app or production slot. With deployment slots, we can create another instance of the web app, which is exactly the same and call it staging, for instance. This is the staging slot, and it also runs on the same app service plan. We can use the staging slot to deploy a new version of the app to. It has a different URL than the production slot, so we can test the new version without it being in production. And then, when we like the new version, we can use the swap action to swap the production and staging slots. This works like magic without any downtime. It's awesome. So, deployment slots. You can use them to test and confirm changes before they go into production. You can also use the test in production feature where a percentage of production traffic is routed to the deployment slot. Deploying happens with no downtime, and you can easily revert a deployment if you don't like it by just swapping back. A deployment slot is a fully fledged instance of an Azure App Service web app. And when you swap slots, you swap their virtual IP address, which helps in making it smooth and without downtime. Let's see this in action. Here we are again in the Azure portal, and this is the App Service web app that runs our simple web application. Let's take a look at the menu. There are many options here, including deployment slots. Let's see. Here it is. And as you can see, we have one slot, which is this App Service web app. And that is, of course, the deployment slot. Let's add another slot. All right. And we'll call this slot the staging slot. We can also choose what to do with the configuration settings, such as copy them over or not. Okay, here we go. This will take a few seconds. So, yep, here it is, the staging slot. And also you can see the test in production feature here. Just type a percentage here and a percentage of production traffic will be routed to the staging slot. So some users get to test the new features. Cool, right? All right, let's take a look. Here it is. As expected, it is just another web app, just like the original one. Cool. All right, back to Visual Studio. Now that we have a slot, we can change our application and go test it. This is the home page that says welcome. Let's change that. We'll change it into this so that the change will be obvious. Okay. Now, just as we did in the previous clip, we'll go and publish this app. This is the publish profile we created earlier, and we need to create a new one to publish this into the staging slot. So again, pick Azure, okay, and yes, Azure App Service. All right, let's see here. These are the existing web apps, and this is our web app. And when I drill down, I can see the deployment slot. Cool. So that is a target to publish to. Isn't Visual Studio just amazing? Okay, let's create the publish profile, and that's it. All that is left to do is to publish the new version to the slot. I'll skip to when it is done. Here it is, the new version of the app on the right. And it is running at the new URL for the staging slot. And on the left is the original app. Okay, so now we can go back to the Azure portal and look at our deployment slots. Let's swap the slots. These are the correct slots, and I can make many more slots, so that's why I can pick slots here. And this looks good, so let's go. So now it is swapping the virtual IP addresses, basically swapping the slots. It also ensures that the slots are warmed up and ready to be used immediately. It does this by firing requests at the website, which trigger it to load the application into memory. And after a while, it is done. Let's take a look. All right, so let's refresh these. This is the production URL and now shows the new version. It worked. And the other one. This one now shows the old version. That's now in the staging slot. So if I want to revert this deployment, I can simply swap again and everything would be back to how it was. What do you think? Cool feature, right?